start with something we have been reporting, and it has been attributed to you. A statement out there that you allegedly issued through your publicist apologizing for that.
Katt Williams has joined the growing list of people calling out Snoop Dogg, and it's got everyone talking. Snoop, who once took shots at Donald Trump in his music, is now making headlines for performing at Trump's crypto ball. The internet is buzzing, and Katt's fiery words have only added fuel to the fire.
But you don't apologize for what you said in that stand-up.
I'm not allowed to. As a stand-up, the only thing that I sell is uncensored thought.
So Suge Knight is alleging that Snoop Dogg has some explaining to do about the night of Tupac's.
Snoop's character has been questioned for years over his true loyalty to his closest people. Now, with Katt Williams throwing his opinion into the mix, people can't help but wonder what's really going on. And here's the twist. This story doesn't just involve Trump. It ties back to Tupac, Suge Knight, and a history of controversy that still lingers today. What did Katt really say, and how does Tupac fit into all this? Stick around. We're breaking it all down.
He would go on to write, "Wow, that's what we doing? Trump propping up white supremacy isn't just in his past, Nelly. It's who he still is today." This man called Daniel Penny a hero. He still stands behind his opinion of the exonerated five.
Snoop wasn't the only one under fire at the crypto ball. Sharing the stage were Rick Ross, Soulja Boy, and Nelly, all of whom faced backlash for their involvement. Critics didn't hold back, calling out the irony of artists who previously criticized Trump now performing at an event tied to him. Nelly, already set to perform at another Trump-related event, defended his participation, but that's a topic for later. Suge Knight says Snoop Dogg has some explaining to do about the night Tupac died. Katt Williams, never one to hold back, has called out Snoop for performing at Donald Trump's crypto ball. This move shocked many, especially since Snoop had publicly criticized Trump in his music. Katt's sharp wit and biting critique question Snoop's decisions and what they say about his place in the entertainment industry. Katt wasn't just talking about the performance. He suggested a deeper critique of Snoop's overall path from his days with Tupac to now. Katt implied that Snoop's choices often prioritize self-preservation over anything else. Katt Williams framed Snoop Dogg's Trump performance as just another example of someone bending to the powers that be to stay relevant. On Instagram, he went on a rant, saying, "Wow, that's what we're doing? Trump propping up white supremacy isn't just in his past, it's who he still is today." This man called Daniel Penny a hero and still stands by his opinion of the exonerated five. Katt isn't the only one raising eyebrows over Snoop's choices. Other voices have joined the conversation, and the criticism is growing. Country artist John
Snoop Dogg saying, "If you all vote for him, you're stupid MFers. This guy's a punk, don't vote for this N-word, don't vote for him."
But Snoop's explanation didn't silence the criticism. While some fans appreciated his pragmatic approach, others felt it clashed with his history of taking bold stances, especially against Trump. Snoop, however, seemed unfazed, standing firm in his belief that times change and that focusing on common ground is more important than old rivalries. In a recent interview,
we're giving you this backlash because you are propping up a white supremacist. I would ask them to show me where he's a white supremacist.
The backlash surrounding Snoop and the other performers wasn't just about Trump himself. For many, it reflected a deeper betrayal of the values these artists once stood for. Others saw it as a necessary move in an industry that often demands alliances that aren't always easy to explain. Amid the criticism, Snoop addressed the situation on his own terms, adding more fuel to the fire and ensuring the story kept growing. Snoop Dogg wasted no time addressing the criticism surrounding his performance at Trump's crypto ball. In his own words, this wasn't about politics or choosing sides. It was about business and bringing people together. Snoop framed his decision as a way to bridge gaps and focus on unity, saying that his goal was to move beyond past disagreements for something bigger. To Snoop, this was about evolution, not betrayal.
But I am honored to be performing for the office, for the President of the United States, regardless. Ain't none other president asked me to perform.
This defense echoed Snoop's sentiment, suggesting their appearances were about seizing opportunities rather than making political statements. Yet, for many critics, this wasn't enough. The optics of hip-hop legends performing for someone they once openly opposed were hard to ignore. But these recent controversies aren't new for Snoop. They reflect patterns that go all the way back to his days with Tupac and Suge Knight, where questions of loyalty first began to surface. Sometimes it felt like Snoop wasn't even there. He went from being the biggest name in the world to everyone talking about Tupac. The questions about Snoop Dogg's loyalty didn't start with his performance at Trump's crypto ball. To understand the depth of this controversy, we need to go back to one of hip-hop's most explosive moments, the East Coast-West Coast feud. During this volatile time, Snoop's infamous interview with Angie Martinez set off alarms. While Tupac was going all in against Biggie and Puffy, Snoop took a completely different approach, calling the two his homeboys.
I'm doing this for money. I'm doing this because it's an honor. I respect the office. It's an honor for me to perform for the President of the United States, regardless of who's in office. If President Biden would have asked me to perform, I would have performed.
Despite all the controversies, Snoop Dogg has made efforts to reconcile with Tupac's legacy, showing a more emotional and reflective side over the years. After Tupac's tragic passing, Snoop reached out to Jada Pinkett Smith, one of Tupac's closest friends, and Afeni Shakur, Tupac's mother, to honor his memory. These gestures were seen as Snoop's way of mending fences and acknowledging the impact Tupac had on his life and career.
It was almost like Snoop wasn't there. He went from the biggest thing in the world to now everybody's.
This didn't sit well with Tupac, who was fully immersed in the East Coast-West Coast feud. Spice One explained that Tupac felt blindsided and even betrayed by Snoop's neutrality. According to Spice, Tupac couldn't understand how Snoop could appear to side with individuals he believed stood against everything Tupac was fighting for.
He was a bit upset about that.
He told me, Snoop's trying to be cool with them, and at the same time I was like, damn, he's trying to be cool after they shot you up in the studio. But that wasn't the only tension. Corrupt later revealed that before the fateful Vegas trip where Tupac was shot, Snoop told the Dog Pound not to go. Snoop told us to stay away to avoid the drama, Corrupt said. While this decision may have saved lives, it created a deeper divide between Snoop and Tupac's team. Tupac, who lived by a ride-or-die mentality, likely saw Snoop's move as another instance of distancing himself when things got real. Spice One highlighted what he saw as a pattern of self-preservation in Snoop's actions, contrasting it with Tupac's unwavering commitment to his principles. Spice explained that Tupac always stood firm for what he believed in, regardless of the consequences, which he felt set Tupac apart from others. In his view, Snoop's recent actions reflect a long-standing tendency to adapt rather than take a definitive stand. He was probably trying to lay low, He had just beaten a serious charge and was on trial for 25 to life. Then there's Suge Knight, who added fuel to the fire with his own claims. Suge suggested that Snoop might know more about Tupac's death than he's ever let on. It's a heavy accusation, and while Snoop hasn't directly addressed it, it lingers in the background, adding another layer to the narrative of fractured loyalty. If that wasn't enough, 6ix9ine has recently reignited conversations about Snoop, accusing him of being a snitch. While the two had their own beef, 6ix9ine's claims tapped into a recurring theme: Snoop's decisions and alliances often raising questions about his allegiances. But here's the twist. Despite all the criticism and accusations, Snoop has made attempts to reconcile with his past in his own way.
Yeah, I heard Snoop, he was real hurt by that, huh?
Hell yeah. Pop was he was our friend.
In an emotional account, Snoop reflected on visiting Tupac in the hospital after the shooting in Las Vegas. He described the moment as overwhelming, saying he fainted at the sight of his friend hooked up to machines. Tupac's mother, Afeni, helped Snoop regain his composure, reminding him to be strong. "My baby wouldn't want to see you weak," she told him. Afeni gave Snoop a moment alone with Tupac to say goodbye, allowing him to express the love and respect he still carried for his friend. She knew there was some tension, but she also knew how much we loved each other. So, she gave us a moment for me to say some things to him about how much I loved him. But I knew that was going to be my last time. Snoop has often shared how deeply he regrets the unresolved tension between them. Their last interaction on a private plane after Snoop's Angie Martinez interview left Tupac distant and upset. "Pac didn't even look at me," Snoop once said. "That still hurts me to this day."
You may think it was more people against me, it was more people with me.
Oh, we know.
Oh,
Yeah,
but-
I saw that.
That was the strange.
definitely
That
felt
was
that.
just, thanks, Snoop. You said what we been wanting to say.
Right.
But you shouldn't have said it like
that.
Yeah.
That part. That,
You get it?
Yeah.
By reaching out to Jada and Afeni, Snoop has tried to show that he values Tupac's legacy, even if their relationship ended on a difficult note. He has spoken openly about how Tupac's passion and energy shaped his career, calling Pac his brother for life. But while these efforts highlight Snoop's desire to make amends, his recent actions, like performing at Trump's crypto ball, have reignited debates about whether his choices reflect genuine growth or a recurring pattern of self-preservation. Fast forward to today and Snoop's performance. Snoop Dogg's performance at Trump's crypto ball has sparked many questions. Once a vocal critic of Trump, even mocking him in a music video, Snoop's shift to headlining a Trump event feels like déjà vu. It's a pattern of prioritizing self-preservation, adapting to opportunities even if it means switching sides. SP says, "You're either riding or colliding." Katt Williams seems to think so too. His recent comments about Snoop align with the broader critique he's made about the entertainment industry. From accusations against Jamie Foxx to wild claims about clones, Katt has repeatedly suggested that many big names in the industry are more concerned with power and survival than authenticity. To him, Snoop's moves aren't an exception. They're part of a much bigger problem. But there's an irony here that complicates this story even further. Trump's growing support among Black communities makes Snoop's actions harder to dismiss outright. Snoop Dogg's performance at Trump's crypto ball comes at a time when Trump's growing support among Black communities is on the rise, adding another layer to the backlash. According to Benny Johnson, this creates a strange irony. What once would have been seen as an outright betrayal now feels more complicated. Trump's policies, particularly around criminal justice reform, have won over some Black voters, making Snoop's move less of an anomaly and more of a reflection of shifting dynamics.
He said he used to be a superstar and now he's just a no-limit soldier. What do you say to that?
He used to be a CEO, now he's just an inmate.
As pragmatic, not a betrayal. On the flip side, Katt Williams seems to take a different stance. For Katt, Snoop's alignment with Trump is just another example of entertainment figures compromising their principles for survival. Katt's broader critique has repeatedly questioned the authenticity of these moves, tying them to a system he believes prioritizes power over loyalty. But you don't apologize for what you said in that studio. That stand-up? I'm not allowed to as a stand-up. The only thing I sell is uncensored thought, so I'm only selling them the way I think, uncensored. So, is Katt Williams exposing a deeper truth about Snoop, or is this all just part of his evolution? In a world where survival means playing the game differently, Katt Williams' comments about Snoop Dogg have reignited some of hip-hop's oldest debates, shining a spotlight on loyalty, choices, and survival in the music industry. From his controversial performance at Trump's crypto ball to his past tensions with Tupac and Suge Knight, Snoop's story continues to evolve and stir up conversations. Whether you see his actions as strategic moves or something more questionable, one thing is clear. Snoop Dogg knows how to keep people talking. Katt Williams joins me now live from Los Angeles. Katt, good morning. It's great to have you with us. Good morning, TJ. How are you? I'm doing all right. But you don't apologize for what you said in that studio. That stand-up? I'm not allowed to as a stand-up. The only thing I sell is uncensored thought, so I'm only selling them the way I think, uncensored. So, is Katt Williams exposing a deeper truth about Snoop, or is this all just part of his evolution? In a world where survival means playing the game differently, Katt Williams' comments about Snoop Dogg have reignited some of hip-hop's oldest debates, shining a spotlight on loyalty, choices, and survival in the music industry. From his controversial performance at Trump's crypto ball to his past tensions with Tupac and Suge Knight, Snoop's story continues to evolve and stir up conversations. Whether you see his actions as strategic moves or something more questionable, one thing is clear. Snoop Dogg knows how to keep people talking.